there guys, it's John here at the FLICKpick channel, and it's been a long time. We're back on track now. It's time for another Blu-ray DVD update. Real quick here before we jump into the movies I picked up over the last month, I wanted to talk about a movie I just recently watched. I rented it from a video store, not a fucking Redbox machine, even though I tried, but they didn't have it. Yes, I am a hypocrite and a sellout, but there's a Redbox, honestly. Like, I can throw a baseball to the Redbox machine from where I live. I actually don't even own a fucking baseball. I actually used to strike out in T-ball. The movie I'm talking about is 127 Hours, starring James Franco. I used to call him James Falco back in the day. I don't know why the hell I did that. I think I played too much Star Fox. Now, this movie, this movie was pretty decent. I mean, it was better than I actually expected it to be. I mean, the cinematography, what they did to actually keep the pace going with his, hallucinations. He thought he was on a game show at one point. He was drinking his own urine. He ate a contact. The acting was great. The visuals were great. The direction was great. And one of the most interesting things about the movie is it's based on a true story. But with all that said, there was one aspect of this movie that I was blown away by. This is what made the movie, it took the movie from this to up here, and let me tell you that's a big deal, folks. When all hope is gone, and there's nothing left, and your arm is stuck under a 2-fucking-ton boulder, what do? You jerk off. In the movie, he actually, he gives up on life, and he's watching a short little video clip on his camcorder of some girls wearing tank tops that he's swimming with. And then, in an attempt to release the pain, he puts his hand in his pants, he thinks about doing it, but then he gives up. So basically, he loads the shotgun and doesn't pump it. In all honesty, that was the realest part of that movie to me, because that's exactly what I would have done in that situation. Because sometimes, folks, when there's no answer in life and you don't know what to do, just jerk off. Or as my grandpa used to call it, shake the old pine tree. Anyway, let's jump into the DVD Blu-ray pickups. And I think I'm going to take down the green screen because I don't want to seem like a sellout, even though I would for the right price, don't get me wrong. But I think the movies, they deserve an actual backdrop. You guys, I need to feel like my collection's got my back. I need it to feel like it's rubbing my shoulders. And I actually used to have a high school teacher that used to come up behind me and rub my shoulder for like a minute or two, and he was about a 47-year-old man. It was my computer teacher, and he'd always say shit like this. He'd be like, "Jonathan, there's two things in life. There's liberty and justice." And I'd be like, "What do you mean, Mr. Bowers?" He'd be like, well, take freedom for example, Jonathan. The American government's taken away your safety. By safety, what do? They make you wear seatbelts. Would you rather have safety, or would you rather have freedom? And he actually didn't have a British accent, even though I would classify him as a pedophile, but he was a nice guy. And I'm an ass. It seems like it's been forever since I've done one of these. Alrighty, where to start? What am I fucking doing here? Okay, I've been getting this fucking weird twitch in my right eye. I don't know what it is. I think I'm going to have a stroke. Alright, the first movie I'm going to show you, the price on this thing goes up and down like the fucking stock market. And it's Scott Pilgrim vs. World. And I got it on Blu-ray. It's a DVD combo pack. And I got this at Best Buy a few weeks ago for about, I think it was $13 on sale. And I just now checked them again, and it's $30 there. So I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing. It jumps up and down, it goes all over the place. I actually looked for a while for this, and I wasn't going to spend $30 on a movie I kind of liked. I'm not in love with this movie, but I will give it props that it was pretty unique, it was different, it looks cool, it looks good on Blu-ray. The only big problem I found with this movie was some of the fights got a little bit repetitive. A few of the fights were really cool and stood out, but a couple of them were just like, when the hell is this going to get over? The chick in here with the purple hair, she was also in Live Free or Die Hard, and you know what? She reminds me, her bitchy, depressing attitude reminds me of Kate Winslet from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So maybe that's why I didn't like her. I find her attractive. I would do things to her. For like 13 or 14 bucks, I couldn't go wrong with this one. Next up, Megamind, and I actually remember seeing this in theaters when it came out, and I fell asleep. We snuck into a couple movies that day, and the night before we seen this, I was actually up all night pulling a Charlie Sheen, and by the time this movie came on, I was out of it. I fell asleep like 10 minutes into it, and I bought it on Blu-ray with the DVD combo thing, and I was actually fairly impressed with this movie. I watched it, and just the other day, and very entertaining. Actually, I was pretty impressed with this movie. I actually enjoyed the first 5 minutes the most out of it. Not to say the rest wasn't good, but the first 5 minutes were just really kind of edgy to me. I don't know why. It shows young Megamind, in a prison growing up as a kid. And Did anyone else think the good guy in this movie, voiced by Brad Pitt, was actually intended to be voiced by George Clooney? I don't know why. I think George Clooney actually would have went with him a little bit better. And I actually really thought I was going to hate Will Ferrell doing the voice of Megamind, but you know what? He pleasantly surprised me for the first time in a long time. And Jonah Hill in the movie, I feel like if they could have afforded Seth Rogen, they would have got him, but they went with Jonah Hill instead. So overall, pretty damn good movie, and there was some talk about this not looking too good on Blu-ray, and I watched it on Blu-ray, and I didn't really notice any of the things that they were talking about, like the artifacting or the jagged lines. I didn't really see any of that, so I don't know, maybe I have cataracts, I don't know what the hell. And I finally upgraded from the DVD and went all out and got the Blu-ray of Star Trek. And I picked this up at a Blockbuster for $10. It just never gets boring to me. I enjoy the Spock. I enjoy everything about it. And let me go out on a limb here. I know a lot of people out there are in love with J.J. Abrams. You think he's the best thing ever. But you know what? This movie, cinematography-wise, popcorn fun-wise, you know, corny jokes every once in a while here and there, and action-wise, even with the little lens flare, this movie could have been directed by Michael Bay. It had little Michael Bay touches all over it, and say what you will, you can poop on my face. It felt like a Michael Bay movie. Hopefully they get off their asses and make a sequel pretty soon. Alright, the next two were double dippins. American History X at a pawn shop for $5. I already own the DVD, but for $5, who gives a shit? You gotta buy the Blu-ray. And it looks pretty damn good on Blu-ray. No big problems I've seen. Just a great movie, great drama, just the curb stomp scene. And if you guys have a little hate in your heart, this movie definitely might make you question that. Great, powerful movie. I mean, this is one of my favorite dramas of all time. And listen to me, I'm sounding like a goddamn hippie right now. I don't know. I still litter, though. That's my way of showing the man. We're driving down the highway at 75 miles per hour. It just feels really good to throw a McDonald's bag out the window. You know, it really releases the tension. And the last Blu-ray for today was Roadhouse. I already owned it on DVD, but $5 Blu-ray. Patrick Swayze kicking ass, left boot blade. You know, I mean, he's a professional bouncer. My biggest complaint about Roadhouse isn't the over-the-top action. It's not Swayze wearing a shirt that's actually cutting off the circulation of his arms and having a little mousse in his hair. It was actually the fact that some guy hired him to come down to the Double Deuce, be a professional bouncer there, and for a club that's out in the middle of fucking bumfuck Egypt. And anyway, the club was in the middle of nowhere in some shit little small town. This town only had like 2 stores to it. Don't forget that, okay? So, and how many people could this town actually hold? Maybe like 20,000 people in this thing? So, why would he pay a guy to come be a bouncer at a club that only has like an occupancy of, you know, 200 people a night, and he's going to pay him $1,000? This is back in the late 80s. How does that make sense? How is the owner of this club making a profit? I used to fuck guys like you in prison, and that line changed my life. And just a quick question, has anyone out there ever gotten a haircut where they actually cut your hairline really far back and you ended up looking like Murphy from RoboCop? I picked up from a pawn shop for a couple bucks, was Rookie of the Year. And this is just a great movie I remember from my my youth, and it was always fun to watch. HBO showed it every day, at least 3 times a day. And this was before Gary Busey's brain leaked out of his ear. He was actually, you know, he played the Rocket. He was an old scruffy pitcher, you know, kind of fading out of the picture. And this 9-year-old kid who breaks his arm becomes one of the fastest pitchers in the league. So that plot probably didn't sell you too much in watching the movie if you haven't. But you know what? Damn fun movie. And last but not least, I went into Blockbuster tonight. I was looking around, and I seen this down on the bottom shelf for $6, brand new, and it was Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And this is probably my favorite Tim Burton movie ever made. This is just such a cult classic in every aspect. I mean, there's dark humor in this movie. I don't think as a child you really understood it, but then you watch it again and you're just like, wow, that's amazing in every way. I mean this movie was filled with great characters. What about Terry, the ex-convict who escaped and he cuts off mattress tags? Or what about Large Marge? I mean, and you gotta respect Paul Reubens for taking such an oddball character who actually seemed like a pedophile when he had a little red bow tie and rode a bike around, and making a great living off of it. You know, if I did something like that, I'd probably end up working in a truck stop, and most of my daily tasks would probably take place in the restroom stalls. So real quick here, before I go, let me ask you guys this question. If you were stuck in a canyon, and one of your arms were stuck under a boulder, and you had one free arm, and you were dehydrated, what would you do? Would you pull a James Franco, or wouldn't you? I mean, I know I would. Because if I'm going to load the shotgun and pump it, I'm definitely going to pull the trigger too. That's mostly because I'm a pervert and I have no value system, but... So let me know what you guys would have done down below. Anyway, this was John with the FLICKpick channel, and I'll see you later.